JW turn G, you already know. I don't know who the fuck this nigga is or what they got going on, but look at, just hold on, I'm gonna scroll up. Peep the motherfucking main article that they got on this bitch. Alright, ready? Is religion just another big business? What does God think about people who use religion to make money? Now, when I be telling y'all motherfuckers the best way to hide something or the best place to hide something is in plain sight, I mean that shit. Man. Oh, fuck. What? Let's just see what the fuck they talking about here. Is religion just another big myth? Hell yeah, it is, nigga. Come on, dog. And they gon' see, they have to put this out. Like, I think that's one of the characteristics of brainwashing and manipulation. Like, they can't just avoid this subject, right? Because then the people are gonna start looking for answers in other places. And they gonna find that the truth. But if they put the shit here and give them an answer, then next time this issue or this subject comes up, they're gonna revert straight back to this. And this, obviously, is gonna tell them what they want them to know. You feel me? So, shit, man, this article long as fuck. Well, it's not too bad. Anyway, let's get into it and see what the fuck they talking about. Have you noticed that many religions, let me just start that from the 10 out. Have you noticed that many religions appear to be more focused on making money than on providing spiritual guidance? They market and sell services and merchandise. Many other leaders are paid large salaries and live in luxury. Consider just a few examples. And I will say this, I be seeing them niggas like, what's his name, Joel Osteen, I think. And you know, he got bread and he like the main one. I don't know if that's a religion though. I think that just might be like a church. And they all about the money. Now I will say, Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't aggressively come after your money, but they are all about control. They will aggressively control you. Power and control. See, they just got religion a big mess, but yes, it's power and control. An investigation revealed that one Catholic bishop, over a period of 13 years, used church funds to pay for nearly 150 trips on private jets and some 200 limousine rides. He also spent well over $4 million on renovations to his church residence. Yeah. Now, when it comes to the elders in the congregation or the governing body, I don't know how because people will donate, right? People will donate money. And, you know, they count it up and then they tell the congregation how much it is, but you don't really know how much it is. Like, you're just putting faith in what they're telling you, right? So, ain't no telling. And then, like, the governing body, their whole life is centered around the organization. So they don't work. Like, they don't have jobs. Like, that's what they do. So they getting money somehow. And we don't know how much they get. Like, nobody knows that besides them. You know what I mean? So ain't really no telling. They just not out in public with it like these niggas are. A preacher in one African country regularly holds religious services with tens of thousands of attendees. His large church complex sells all kinds of merchandise, from miracle oil to branded towels and t-shirts. While most who attend are poor, he is extremely wealthy. Yup. Why would they sell miracle oil t-shirts? That's funny. Like, that's just, them niggas is dumb for buying that. Real talk. Two of China's 4 sacred Buddhist mountains are publicly listed companies, and the famous Shalom Temple is involved in many commercial projects. It's about its popularity, known as the CEO monk. Divinity consults are beginning to appear in corporate America. According to one report, they borrow from religious traditions and design sacred rituals to provide other spiritual services for their clients. How do you feel about religions that are absorbed in business? Notice they didn't say anything about themselves, right? And so that's what I mean. That's why they have to touch this subject. Because if the witnesses look anywhere else, they're going to get information they don't want them to have, right? They didn't say anything about themselves in this. They just kicked it off with Africa, China, Catholics, and then, all right. How do you feel about religions that are absorbed in business? Have you ever wondered what God thinks about people who seek to profit financially from religious activities? So what do y'all think this is? Like, this is a brand. Like, this is a brand. There's all type of videos, publications. Like, I'm gonna show y'all too. And it's on the website. You know what I mean? They be building big ass buildings, having construction projects, and they be doing all type of shit, right? So while it may not be one person, like Joel Osteen runs that whole motherfucker. Like, this is a group of people, right? But they still get money. But this is more, the witnesses are more about power and control versus taking your money. But I mean, they still gonna do that a little bit. Okay. What does God think about mixing religion with business? Come on, my nigga. Come on. Like, on some real shit, though. And I'm not even trying to, like, on some real shit. That's what the Jehovah's Witnesses are. It's religion and business. Like, how would it not be? They have buildings that they get to write off tax-free. They bring in a bunch of money over the year. They make videos. They make publications. They're putting out magazines and tracts. They're having campaigns. Like, it's a business. And it's a religion. So, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, how would it not be? Who in their right mind would look at the Jehovah's Witness organization and say that it's not a business? It's not business and religion. That's literally what that is. So when I say the best way to hide something is in plain sight, I mean that. Because they got this shit right here in plain black and white that says, God does not approve of mixing religion with business. My nigga, what the fuck is this then? The Bible shows that in the past, he was very displeased with priests who claimed to represent him while instructing for a price. God condemned the greedy commercial practices that turned his place of worship into a cave of robbers. Jesus shared God's disgust for those who use religion for financial gain. In this day, religious leaders profited from greedy merchants whom they permitted to operate inside Jerusalem's temple. There, they exploited sincere people who come to worship Jehovah. Jesus courageously cleared those crooked merchants out of the temple area, saying, "Stop mixing the house of my father, or stop making the house of my father a house of commerce." Even when you go to the meeting or like a convention or an assembly or whatever, they have boxes where you put money in. They're called donation boxes. And there's people that sit by those boxes, but you're still giving money. They're not, like I said, they don't aggressively ask for it, but they be sure to remind you about it. They're sure that you know where the boxes are. It's a shitload of boxes throughout the place. Jesus also reflected God's thinking in the way he conducted his ministry. He never charged people when he taught them about God. He did not request payment when he performed miracles such as feeding the hungry, curing the sick, and raising the dead. Jesus never used his ministry to accumulate wealth. He did not even own a home. Man, come on, dog. When we used to go out in service back in the day, part of the presentation would be to ask for a donation. I forgot how we used to word it. We used to be like, we used to say, if you want to make a voluntary donation to support the work I'm doing, I'd be more than happy to accept it. Some shit like that. Oh, and niggas will be taking them donations going to McDonald's. You feel me? I mean, come on, dog. Like, who's not gonna do that? You know what I mean? That's why you can't even mix this shit, because it's gonna happen regardless. How did the first Christians keep worship separate from business? Jesus told his followers never to seek financial profit from their religious activities. He said, "You receive free, give free." Those early followers who became known as Christians followed Jesus' instructions. Consider a few examples. We don't know what these people did, right? Then this nigga Judas, wasn't that his whole MO? You know what I mean? But we don't know what these niggas was doing. The Apostle Peter, who accompanied Jesus during his ministry, was offered money by a man named Simon. That nigga was probably set up to do that, just so they could tell the story. Who wanted a position of power and authority. Peter immediately rejected Simon's offer and firmly corrected him, saying, "May your silver perish with you, because you thought you could acquire the free gift of God with money." The Apostle Paul was a well-known traveling minister. Although he worked hard for years in many Christian congregations, he never sought financial gain for his labor. He and fellow Christians were not peddlers of the word of God, as many men are. On the contrary, Paul wrote, "We were working night and day so that we would not put an expensive burden on any one of you when we preached the good news of God to you." Come on, dog. Of course, those early Christians did not need some resource to finance their extensive preaching campaigns and charitable works, but they never charged for their religious services. People could choose to give if they wanted to, based on the following guidelines. Okay, but it's still, as soon as you accept payment from somebody, that makes it business. Now you're doing business, whether you wanted to or not, whether you had guidelines or not. If you accept the payment for a service, guess what? That's what the fun business is. So, you know what I mean? Whether people chose to or not, whatever. All right, 2 Corinthians 8:12. "For if the readiness is there first, it is especially acceptable according to what a person has, not according to what a person does not have." So if they got the money and they want to give it, nobody's going to turn that down. Nobody's turning down money. You just did business. A person's motive in giving is more important than the amount he gives. Okay, but it's the amount that he gives that makes it official, whether it's $1 or 100. 2 Corinthians 9:7. "Let each one do just as he resolved in his heart, not grudgingly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver." Meaning, God does not want anyone to feel forced to give. He is pleased when a person chooses to give because he wants to. Okay? And the human religions and organization are going to put that pressure on you. You're going to feel pressure regardless. It may not be forced, but you're going to be reminded, you're going to be told, you're going to see the box. Something is going to happen and you're going to feel pressure to give. What will soon happen to greedy religion? The Bible clearly states that God does not accept all religions or forms of worship. In a striking prophecy, the Bible likens all false religious organizations to a prostitute because they form alliances with governments for money or other favors and exploit people of all nations. Yeah, every religion does that. Even if it's not like on a global big scale like that, if you go down the chain of command or just down the line, this is happening regardless because they're human organizations. That prophecy goes on to show that God will soon execute judgment on false religion. Every religion is false. In the meantime, God does not want the bad actions or false religion to deceive people or to distance them from him. Wait, what? In the meantime, God does not want the bad actions of false religion to deceive people or to distance them from him. He urges sincere individuals to learn how to serve him acceptably and to flee from false religion. See, it's like when you got one religion, like if you ask Catholics, they would say the same thing about the witnesses. And if you ask the Baptists, they'd say the same thing about the Catholics. And if you ask the Protestants, they say the same thing about the Baptists. Like, it never ends. That's religion. That's what it is. And they all think that they're the true one and that the other ones are false. How do Jehovah's Witnesses keep worship separate from business? Jehovah's Witnesses do not charge for their literature or for Bible instruction. No, they don't. But without the donations and the money, it stops because it is a business. If it wasn't a business, you would just go and preach for free and you wouldn't have to worry about all that. If they didn't get any more money, any more donations, the organization would stop running. nor do they tithe or take up collections at the meetings. They got boxes, donation boxes. Instead, needed funds are supplied through private voluntary donations. The following articles provide further details. So that makes it business. The fact that they are donating, and there's people that regularly do this, so it is a regular part. Oh, 15th of the month coming around, let me put that, you feel me? And they even have it set up on the website, and I had a video on that, where you can set it up to make reoccurring payments. Many spiritually minded people who were previously skeptical of a religion have discovered that Jehovah's Witnesses are different. Meet Tom. Come on, my nigga. Come on, dog. Meet Tom, a man who wanted to believe in God and even studied to become a priest. He eventually abandoned religion because he was disgusted by the abuses he saw. What changed his mind when he studied the Bible, Jehovah's Witnesses? He got brainwashed? I mean, sorry, Tom. I said I was going to show y'all something up here, but I forgot what it was, so fuck it. JW turn G.